China already has a lead over the United States in some aspects, but Chinese military analysts want China to do more in the field of laser weapons.
China already has a lead over the United States in some aspects, but Chinese military analysts want China to do more in the field of laser weapons. China has just revealed something so staggering that it almost defies belief. Reports emerged that Chinese scientists and engineers have developed a technology so advanced it is capable of reaching light speed. For years, light-speeded travel has belonged in the realm of imagination, locked away in science fiction novels and films. A distant dream, always just beyond humanity's grasp. Yet, for the first time, a government has stepped forward and openly claimed that the barrier separating humanity from the speed of light has been broken. The sheer magnitude of such a declaration sends ripples through every layer of society, from scientific communities to global politics, and it reshapes the way humanity perceives its own potential. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The speed of light is not just a number in physics textbooks. It has long been considered the ultimate speed limit of the universe. At approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, it represents a boundary that defines time, space, and causality. To say that any object or vehicle could reach this speed is to challenge one of the most sacred principles of modern physics. China's announcement that it has managed to engineer a vessel, device, or propulsion system capable of achieving such velocity is not just a scientific milestone. It is a paradigm shift that threatens to redefine the course of human history. If confirmed, it signals a moment that will be remembered for centuries, perhaps millennia, as the turning point where humanity first touched the cosmos in a way previously thought impossible. The implications are vast. At light speed, the distances that once seemed impossibly far shrank to manageable journeys. Stars that were thought to be unreachable within a human lifespan suddenly become destinations rather than eternal points of light in the sky. Colonization, exploration, and direct observation of nearby star systems transition from fantasy to possibility. For nations, this achievement is more than a scientific trophy. It is a symbol of power, influence, and control over humanity's next frontier. Whoever holds light-speeded capability holds the keys to interstellar expansion, resource acquisition beyond Earth, and a commanding position in what could become a new era of space-based geopolitics. To understand how monumental this claim is, one must revisit the history of propulsion. Humanity has crawled forward in increments. First with chemical rockets, then with ion drives and experimental nuclear propulsion concepts. Even at their most advanced, these systems could barely scratch the surface of what would be required to traverse interstellar space. A spacecraft like Voyager, launched decades ago, would take tens of thousands of years to reach even the nearest star system. Against that backdrop, the idea of light-speeded technology is like comparing a candle to a star. One flickers with fragility, while the other illuminates all of space. For China to say it has leaped beyond every other known effort is to leap beyond generations of limitations in one bold stride. It is not just the scientific community that is shaken. Governments and militaries worldwide are forced to take notice. Lightspeed technology, if weaponized or monopolized, is a tool of unimaginable power. The ability to move vast distances instantaneously would allow for dominance in ways no conventional weaponry could match. Surveillance, transportation, even deterrence all gain new meaning when backed by the promise of moving at the fastest speed in the universe. The announcement alone, regardless of whether details are withheld, repositions China as a nation not merely at the forefront of technology, but as the very architect of the future. Skeptics abound, of course. The laws of physics, as currently understood, state that mass cannot reach the speed of light, as it would require infinite energy. For decades, this principle has been one of the cornerstones of relativity and cosmology. To claim to have bypassed it is to claim to have either rewritten or circumvented some of the most fundamental scientific doctrines. Yet, the skepticism itself fuels the intrigue. If China has indeed done this, then the methods they used are as important as the achievement itself. Did they discover an entirely new branch of physics? Did they manipulate spacetime in a way that bends the rules rather than breaks them? Did they uncover an energy source that allows for manipulation of the cosmos at scales unimaginable before? Each of these questions lingers in the air, tantalizing and unsettling in equal measure. The announcement is not made in a vacuum. For decades, there have been whispers of breakthrough experiments in advanced propulsion. From warp drives to antimatter engines, to speculative devices harnessing quantum mechanics, none of these have ever produced tangible, verifiable results. What makes this moment different is the willingness of a major power to step forward and assert that they have succeeded where everyone else has failed. It is a declaration not of intent or theory, but of realization. Such boldness can only mean that behind the closed doors of laboratories and testing facilities, something extraordinary has taken place, something they believe is irrefutable enough to be shared with the world. The cultural ramifications are equally profound. Lightspeed travel has long been tied to humanity's dreams of venturing beyond Earth. And suddenly, those dreams do not just belong to distant generations, they belong to the present. The youth of today, once told that they might only ever look at the stars, are now being told they could one day visit them. The arts, literature, and collective imagination of humankind will be transformed. Stories, once labeled science fiction, might become travelogues. Exploration, once romanticized, becomes a real possibility, shifting how humanity defines progress, hope, and destiny. The psyche of civilization is forever altered when the universe suddenly opens itself as a tangible playground. Asterisk for scientists, the admission is a puzzle and a challenge. Every laboratory in the world now has reason to revisit theories once thought impossible. Universities, research institutes, and independent thinkers alike will scramble to decipher how it could be done, what loophole might exist in physics, and how the achievement was engineered. Debate will rage. Experiments will multiply and knowledge will accelerate. Even if secrecy shrouds China's exact methods, the very existence of their success ignites an intellectual arms race. To catch up, others must innovate faster than ever before, and the collective scientific effort of humanity will surge forward, whether through competition, collaboration, or both. In the realm of energy, the announcement hints at hidden revolutions. To reach Lightspeed requires a manipulation of energy so far beyond today's capacities that it boggles the mind. If such technology exists, it suggests breakthroughs in fields like quantum energy extraction, antimatter utilization, or zero-point field harnessing. These advances would have implications far beyond space travel. Energy crisis could be solved, industries could be transformed, and entire economies could be restructured around a limitless supply of power. In this sense, the implications of light-speeded travel extend not just to the stars, but to every home, every factory, and every city on Earth. The potential for prosperity is immense, though so too is the potential for inequality if such energy remains monopolized. Politically, the announcement is a seismic shift. Space has always been a domain of competition. From the space race of the Cold War to the present-day ventures of corporations and governments alike. Yet Lightspeed changes the rules entirely. Nations no longer compete for low Earth orbit dominance or lunar bases. They compete for the stars themselves. The geopolitical balance tilts sharply in favor of whoever holds the key to interstellar propulsion. And alliances, treaties, and rivalries will inevitably be redrawn. Diplomacy will extend beyond planetary concerns into the realm of galactic ambition. The world order is being reshaped before our eyes, and the announcement is the opening act in a new chapter of human history. The philosophical impact may be the most profound of all. For centuries, humanity has wrestled with questions of place and purpose in the universe. Are we alone? What is beyond the stars? What is the destiny of intelligent life? Lightspeed technology does not answer these questions, but it offers humanity the means to pursue them directly. The stars are no longer distant, untouchable mysteries. They are invitations. With the possibility of reaching them, humanity confronts its own identity. Anew, we are no longer confined to one small planet. We are potentially a species of the cosmos. The awareness of this truth reshapes everything from religion to philosophy to standing. Yet for all the grandeur of the implications, there is also a subtle undercurrent of fear. Lighted technology is power beyond comprehension, and history has shown that power is rarely wielded without conflict. The fear that such an achievement could spark an arms race, that it could widen divides rather than bridge them, is not unfounded. Human history is littered with examples of transformative technologies that were first used for dominance before they were used for peace. Whether Lightspeed will follow the same trajectory remains unknown, but the stakes are higher than ever before. In this sense, the announcement is both a beacon of hope and a warning flare. The scientific method demands verification, and until evidence is provided, doubts will persist. But doubts do not diminish the magnitude of the declaration. Even the possibility that it might be true is enough to shift the trajectory of human thought and endeavor. If humanity is on the cusp of light-speeded travel, then every assumption about our limitations, our reach, and our future must be re-evaluated. China's revelation is not merely a statement about physics, it is a statement about possibility itself. A reminder that barriers often exist only until they are broken. For the individual, the idea that light-speeded travel has been achieved is at once humbling and exhilarating. To live in a time where such advancements are unfolding is to stand at the edge of history, watching as the impossible becomes real. It inspires awe, curiosity, and a reawakening of dreams that seemed forever out of reach. To look up at the night sky now is to see not distant lights, but potential destinations. The future, once a vague horizon, now gleams with clarity. A universe waiting to be explored. This announcement, if fully realized, ensures that humanity's story is no longer bound to Earth. The scope of our history extends outward into the cosmos with no clear end in sight. Each star is a chapter yet to be written, each planet a new stage upon which humanity may step. And it all begins with one audacious claim, that Lightspeed has been reached. Whether through proof, replication, or eventual demonstration, the course of human destiny has been forever altered. The age of interstellar humanity has at long last begun. The claim from China that they have built a technology capable of reaching Lightspeed is more than an announcement of engineering triumph. It is a tectonic shift in the narrative of human progress. To continue exploring the gravity of such a revelation, it is necessary to delve deeper into the broader ripple effects, examining dimensions not yet considered. The psychological transformations in society, the recalibration of education and knowledge systems, the economic upheavals as such a breakthrough would trigger, the cultural redefinitions of art and meaning, and the potential consequences for humanity's relationship with time, memory, and mortality itself. Every thread of human life is woven into the implications of a light-speeded reality, and each deserves careful exploration. The aspect to consider is the psychological transformation that would occur within individuals and communities worldwide. For generations, human beings have lived with a sense of boundedness. The Earth is the cradle. The Moon is a milestone. Mars as a tantalizing yet still elusive next step. Lightspeed technology suddenly strips away those boundaries. The subconscious framework through which humanity defines its aspirations undergoes upheaval. People who once measured ambition in terms of earthly success, wealth, social influence, professional achievement may begin to measure themselves against the stars. This could ignite a renaissance of imagination, with children dreaming not of becoming doctors or engineers alone, but of becoming voyagers, navigators of starlight, and pioneers of alien worlds. The collective psyche of humanity shifts from being Earth-centric to cosmic in orientation, and the very idea of human purpose expands exponentially. The recalibration of education and knowledge systems is another profound consequence. If interstellar travel is now within reach, then the skills demanded by society will undergo radical redefinition. Curricula at schools and universities would no longer focus solely on terrestrial sciences and engineering, but on disciplines tailored to life beyond Earth. Astrobiology, exoplanetary geology, interstellar navigation, and relativistic communication protocols would become mainstream fields of study. Languages might be taught with the explicit purpose of preparing humans for the possibility of encountering extraterrestrial civilizations, emphasizing universal frameworks of logic and mathematics as potential bridges of communication. Education, long shaped by the needs of earthbound industries, would evolve into a toolset for survival and prosperity in the cosmos. Students would not just learn about the solar system as a theoretical concept, but would prepare to interact with it as a practical environment. Economically, light-speeded technology would be the catalyst for the largest transformation in human history. Every resource scarcity on Earth, from rare minerals to clean water to energy supplies, suddenly becomes solvable. Planets, asteroids, and celestial bodies become accessible as reservoirs of wealth. The idea of economies chained to Earth's finite limits collapses, and new markets emerge in realms never before conceived. There would be entire industries devoted to interstellar logistics, the mapping of trade routes across light years, and the development of habitation technologies for distant worlds. Corporate entities would evolve from multinational to multistellar enterprises, their wealth and influence expanding beyond the scope of any terrestrial governance. Economies might fracture along the lines of those who can access the benefits of light-speeded and those who cannot, generating both unprecedented prosperity and potentially destabilizing inequalities. Nations and corporations capable of leveraging this technology would redefine the concept of power altogether. Culturally, art and meaning would be redefined. Human creativity has always drawn inspiration from the heavens, from ancient cave paintings of constellations to modern science fiction films, but once light-speeded travel becomes reality, the heavens cease to be symbolic. They become experiential. Artists will not merely imagine alien landscapes, they will visit them, returning with first-hand experiences that fuel new schools of expression. Poets, painters, and musicians will compose works informed not by Earth's horizons, but by vistas of alien skies, moons orbiting distant suns, and the silence of interstellar voids. The concept of the sublime will be reimagined as humanity learns to find beauty not just in the familiar, but in the utterly foreign. Museums and cultural archives may begin to preserve not only Earth's heritage, but also artifacts from beyond our planet. Each object representing an intersection of human culture and cosmic discovery. Humanity's story expands from a planetary narrative to a universal one, and art becomes the medium through which this story is preserved. The relationship between humanity and time itself must also be reconsidered. Lightspeed is not simply a matter of velocity, it is a doorway into relativistic effects that challenge traditional understandings of time. Traveling near the speed of light alters the perception of time for those aboard a vessel compared to those left behind. Journeys that feel like a few years to explorers might equate to decades or even centuries passing on Earth. This creates a new human dilemma: the psychological and social adaptation to temporal dislocation. Families could splinter not across distance, but across time, with generations aging at different rates depending on exposure to light-speeded travel. A voyager could return to Earth to find that their contemporaries have long passed while they remain young. This paradox forces humanity to confront mortality and continuity in entirely new ways. Philosophers, ethicists, and spiritual leaders would need to grapple with what it means to live when time itself becomes negotiable. Memory too takes on a different character in a light-speeded age. Human memory has always been tied to continuity, shared stories, traditions, and generational knowledge. But with light-speeded travel, memory becomes fragmented across divergent timelines. Different colonies or crews might retain entirely different strands of human history, evolving separately as years stretch differently for each. What it means to preserve collective memory becomes a pressing concern. Technologies for archiving, transmitting, and synchronizing knowledge across vast interstellar distances become as important as food and shelter. humanity must build not only physical infrastructure for light-speeded travel, but also intellectual infrastructure to preserve coherence across the widening gaps of space and time. The legal and ethical frameworks of humanity are equally challenged. Laws built for earthbound societies are inadequate in addressing questions that arise when light speed is achieved. Who owns the stars? Who has the right to colonize or exploit a planet orbiting a distant sun? Does sovereignty extend to interstellar colonies, or do they form independent polities? These questions redefine the very nature of governance. The potential for conflict looms as competing interests vie for control over territories that were once beyond reach. Ethical dilemmas multiply. Should humanity terraform alien planets if doing so risks eradicating unknown native ecosystems? Should exploration be bound by a prime directive of inference, or is expansion an imperative of survival? The light-speeded age demands not only technological progress, but also an evolution of moral responsibility, lest humanity export its terrestrial flaws to the cosmos. This changes not only how we see them, but also how we see ourselves. The Earth ceases to be the center of meaning. It becomes one point among countless others. The humility this inspires may be one of the greatest gifts of lighted technology. To know that the universe is not only vast but also traversable reshapes human identity from parochial and planetary to universal and expansive. It forces us to embrace the truth that our story is not confined to Earth but belongs to the cosmos. In the religious and spiritual realm, the announcement introduces questions of existential magnitude. Faith traditions that have long centered on Earth and humanity's special role in the cosmos will be challenged to reinterpret their doctrines in light of humanity's newfound mobility. Some may see lighted as a divine gift, a means of fulfilling destinies written in ancient texts. Others may see it as hubris, a dangerous trespass into realms meant to remain untouched. New spiritual movements may arise inspired by direct encounters with the immensity of the universe. Pilgrimage could take on a cosmic dimension with journeys to distant stars, framed not as scientific missions, but as acts of spiritual seeking. Lightseed technology in this way becomes not just a scientific achievement, but also a spiritual crucible. Even the fabric of social life would be altered in unforeseen ways. Communities might form around ships, bound not by geography, but by shared journeys through space. Social structures would adapt to the challenges of maintaining cohesion in environments where isolation is extreme and communication with Earth is delayed or impossible. Traditions, languages, and identities may evolve differently in these starring communities, creating a mosaic of human cultures spread across the galaxy. Humanity, once defined by nations and continents, would become defined by stars and systems. Diversity, already vast on Earth, would expand into forms unimaginable today, each shaped by the conditions of their cosmic homes. The natural environment of Earth itself would also be transformed by lightspeed. The pressure to exploit Earth's ecosystems for resources may ease if humanity can access extraterrestrial supplies. Conservation movements could find new strength in the realization that Earth is no longer humanity's only home, but still its birthplace, a sacred origin to be preserved. Conversely, there is the risk that Earth could be neglected, abandoned, or even plundered further if attention shifts outward. The way humanity balances expansion with stewardship will determine whether light-speeded becomes a blessing for the planet or a curse. Earth, once the only arena of human activity, now becomes one node in a much larger network of habitats, demanding a rethinking of what it means to care for home. Lightspeeded also redefines its conflict and cooperation. With such technology, traditional warfare becomes obsolete. The ability to move at light speed renders distance irrelevant, and deterrence takes on unprecedented meaning. The potential for devastation is immense, but so too is the potential for cooperation. Humanity may be forced into unity, recognizing that interstellar endeavors cannot be sustained by fragmented rivalries. The scale of the cosmos demands collective effort, and the challenges it poses may finally compel humanity to transcend divisions that have plagued it for millennia. light-speeded travel becomes not only a test of engineering, but also a test of whether humanity can evolve beyond its own limitations. At the deepest level, the revelation forces humanity to confront its destiny. For centuries, questions of purpose have lingered without clear answers. Why are we here? What is humanity's role in the universe? Light-speeded travel does not answer these questions directly, but it changes the context in which they are asked. No longer is humanity confined to a single planet, vulnerable to extinction by natural or self-inflicted catastrophe. Light-speeded offers survival, continuity, and expansion. It ensures that the human story can outlast the lifespan of Earth, the Sun, and even the galaxy itself. In this sense, the achievement is not just technological, it is existential. It redefines what it means to be human, what it means to endure, and what it means to hope. The announcement by China is thus not just about speed, it is about transformation on every conceivable level. It touches psychology, education, economics, culture, time, memory, ethics, science, spirituality, society, environment, politics, and destiny. Each of these realms is reshaped by the knowledge that the barrier of light-speeded has been crossed. The future that unfolds from this moment is one of both unparalleled opportunity and profound challenge. It is a future where humanity must learn to navigate not only the stars but also itself, balancing ambition with responsibility, power with humility, and exploration with preservation. Light-speeded is the key that unlocks the cosmos, but it is also a mirror that reflects back upon humanity, demanding that we decide who we are and who we will become. The moment China revealed that it had engineered a system capable of achieving light-speeded travel, a profound and irreversible expansion of possibility unfolded. Having already considered the sweeping consequences for science, politics, culture, and philosophy, it is necessary to move deeper into domains often left on the periphery of such discussions. The implications stretch into the fabric of law, human biology, communication, urban design, food systems, personal identity, and even the conceptual boundaries of art and storytelling. Each of these arenas, seemingly distant from the raw physics of lightspeed, is reshaped once humanity steps into a reality where the stars are within reach. Law is one of humanity's oldest frameworks for organizing behavior, resolving conflict, and establishing order. Yet laws have always been tied to geography and time, grounded in the shared spaces of Earth. Lightspeed forces lawmakers and legal theorists into unprecedented terrain. What happens to jurisdiction when a ship leaves Earth and within moments exists in a distant star system? Do earthbound nations retain sovereignty over their citizens? Or does each vessel become a floating state unto itself? The very notion of borders collapses when travel can transcend them instantaneously. Even more complex is the problem of interstellar treaties. Agreements forged on Earth may not hold relevance when humans establish outposts light years away. Colonies could develop legal systems tailored to their conditions, diverging from Earth's frameworks and creating a patchwork of interstellar jurisprudence. Such divergence invites both innovation and chaos. Questions of crime, ownership, citizenship, and even human rights will need to be renegotiated under the new realities of space habitation. What, for instance, constitutes property when a colony mines a distant asteroid? Is that asteroid owned by the colony, by the nation that launched the vessel, or by humanity collectively? These debates will test the adaptability of law to realms it was never designed to govern. Light-speeded technology also forces humanity to reconsider its own biology. Space travel is notoriously taxing on the human body, with effects ranging from muscle atrophy to radiation exposure. If voyages extend across light years, human physiology will face challenges beyond anything yet experienced. This necessity drives advancements in biotechnology, genetic engineering, and medical science. Humans may begin modifying themselves, not only to survive the stresses of high-speed travel, but to thrive in environments alien to Earth. Enhancements could include genetic resistance to cosmic radiation, skeletal reinforcements to counter the absence of gravity, or metabolic adaptations. allowing humans to subsist on unconventional resources. Such alterations blur the line between natural humanity and engineered humanity. Over time, different populations, Earth dwellers, starship communities, and planetary colonists may diverge biologically, creating a spectrum of human variation that challenges the very concept of a singular human species. This diversity, born of necessity, may ultimately redefine what it means to be human in the light-speeded age. Travel at light speed poses another dilemma: communication. While vessels may reach distant stars swiftly, information is still bound by the speed of light unless new methods are discovered. Messages between Earth and colonies would take years to arrive, creating time lags that fracture unity. To address this, humanity may pursue radical communication technologies, quantum entanglement systems, subspace transmissions, or as yet unknown mechanisms for instantaneous contact. The pursuit of such technologies is not trivial. It becomes essential for governance, trade, and personal connection. Families divided across light years will demand ways to remain close. Businesses will require instant negotiation with partners. Scattered among stars, entire infrastructures of communication will rise to meet this demand, shaping not just how humanity talks, but how it perceives presence and absence. If true instantaneous communication emerges, it will collapse the barriers of distance even further than light-speeded travel itself, effectively weaving the galaxy into a single conversational web. Cities have always been designed around the constraints of environment, technology, and mobility. Lightspeed disrupts this equation by relocating humanity into entirely new contexts. Colonies on distant planets or artificial stations must design urban spaces for survival in alien conditions. Cities may be constructed underground to shield inhabitants from radiation or within massive domes to maintain breathable atmospheres. Architecture itself will evolve to incorporate energy systems capable of sustaining